What's going on, y'all? I just did this a while ago, but nothing. It didn't come in at all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take it back from the top because a lot's been happening. A lot's been happening, and what I want to do is really kind of give you guys an update on really where we at or what's happening. So start with a few things. Start with a few things off the top. I want to give a shout out, much love and respect to my mentors. Let's start there because that's where I started the first one from. Again, Patrick Bet David, much love and much respect. Matt Sapala, Kehane Thomas, Rory Douglas, John Hope Bryant, Myron Gordon. There's so many different mentors that help me from a financial services perspective to really understand the industry and understand the rules of money and what's really happening with money. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is a couple of things that's been happening because I haven't been on in a while. Lots been happening. You might notice I locked down the Major Carter's Luxury and Life AI because Life AI has been completely changed. Initially, the Life AI software platform was set up to be a business solution software, but we're actually transitioning that into an AI trading platform based on efficiency and some of the other things that we saw. So what we're doing is we're changing the coding, changing the platform, and we're integrating a completely different formula for the Life AI platform. So that's going to be completely redone for 2026 by the end of 2026, going into 2027. So that has to complete. That's something new that's coming off the block. Additionally, what I'd love to share is really what's been happening and what's actually happening. So there's some alarms that I need to sound, okay? And the reason why I need to sound these alarms is because some things are happening that I know that nobody's paying attention to, or people are really paying attention to the wrong things. Now, what do I mean by that? If you notice recently, Donald Trump ordered or an executive order, and we went into Venezuela and we captured Maduro, and in the process we got over 300 million barrels of oil. Yes, sound the alarm. Sound the alarm. Because now you have to understand what is about to happen. Now, let me explain to you what's about to happen. What is about to happen is very, very serious. See, America is in a place where oil is one of the biggest assets of America. Now, as America has a lot of oil now, you have to understand we're going into an age of digitalized assets. Everything is going to be completely tokenized and digitalized. Now, with everything being digitalized, what does that mean for oil and the oil industry? Now, I'm going to break it down for you on three levels, okay? I'm going to start with the oil. So, I don't know if you know about BRICS. Brazil, India, China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and South Africa, right? That's the BRICS nation. They're the largest producers of oil. Next to them is Venezuela, okay? So, as U.S. being one of the largest suppliers of oil and power and energy to also Europe as well in some aspects, along with Russia. That's kind of why the whole process of the war in Russia became such a big thing because Russia supplies Europe with oil. So when they sanction Russia, it's like the nose cutting off the nose to spite the face, because then you need that oil to survive and survive in the heat and the cold. But then you're going to sanction the place that you get your energy from. Did not think that one through. So here we are today. Now let's continue talking about the oil. Like I said, oil is going to be digitalized and it's going to create a tokenized world for oil in America on a whole larger scale. If you think about when Biden was in office and he talked about gas prices and he's talking about the evil Russia and the Putin price hike. And he was making up all this shit about Putin's price hikes, right? But these are American oil companies. Shell, BP, ExxonMobil, these are all American oil companies, and they drill right here off of the coast of America, So when he was talking about Putin's price hike and all that other bullshit, and we have our own oil companies here, it was just to show us Americans how we were buying the happy horse shit, because every president always falls on the horse shit that they sell and the horseshit that they push. whatever manure that they try to sell you, that's what they all fall on. I'll explain that in later. But let's stick to the oil for a second. Now, let's follow that black oil. Let's follow that black gold for a second. So now that America has gotten these 300 barrels of oil as a gift in return for the liberation or controlling interest in Venezuela's oil, I guess the Gulf of America was one thing. Now we went to Venezuela because it has South America in it, right? It's a part of South America. So it's because of the Americas, America has to control that asset, right? I'm going to get to the caveats, but just remember that. So now that we've gone through this process of South America and, invaded South America to secure the oil for North America, to secure the Americas, what did Trump do? Trump went to the forum in Europe and he made some wild announcements and he really threatened some big shots at Europe. Now, in making those big shots at Europe, a lot of things happened. A lot of things that people didn't really expect to happen. A lot of things people didn't really want to happen, but it happened just the same. Now, let me break that down for you and really peep game. So what happened was this. So in the process of him shooting shots at Europe, right, Elon Musk also broke down some phenomenal things. Now, if you did not see what Elon Musk had to say, I implore you to go on YouTube and watch that video. Watch what Elon had to say. That video was absolutely amazing for a lot of different reasons. What Elon Musk was talking about in that video, I have been talking about in my 2036G podcast series, the audio podcast series. The book is coming out in 2026 later this year, so look out for that book series to come out later this year. And I'm going to be pitching this to make this a Netflix series based on the current series of events, because these are things that have already been put together already previously that are being discussed right now and are happening in right now, current history. So as it's happening right now and it's already been spoken about in my 6-part series, I'm definitely going to be pitching this to Netflix so that we can get a remote viewing series going from this entire series, because I don't think there's actually a remote viewing series on Netflix in specific things as it relates to history. But let's find out. You never know. But anyway, I digress. To progress. Let's say that. But let's keep this thing moving. As I was saying, let's follow the oil. So we get oil money right now, because now we got all this oil money coming in from these 300 barrels of oil. Now what's going to happen is we have to position ourselves behind tokenized oil. I'm going to just say that out loud. Position yourself behind tokenized oil. Because if we have 300 barrels of this thing, who's going to make the most money? The oil companies. And why does that work? And I'll explain to you. Starts with the estate. So if you don't have an estate, get an estate. Find a way to figure out how to put together an estate. Figure it out. Get an estate. That's the first thing you need to do. Have an estate. Put an estate together, because what? The estate for the oil companies invest into oil-rich fields. And after the oil-rich fields, the profits from that, they invest into oil drilling and oil refineries. Oil drilling. And then the profits from oil drilling, they invest into oil refineries. The profits from oil refineries, they invest into gas station and transportation. The profits from gas stations and transportation, they invest into vacation and leisure expenditures. And then the profits from that goes back into the trust, and it's a cycle. Now, the owners of the trust, they don't own anything, because the trust owns everything. The trust in the estate owns everything, but guess who controls it? The grantors, the executors, and the beneficiaries of the trust in the estate. That's exactly how the Rockefellers do it. Control everything, but you absolutely own nothing. So on paper, they're going to look at you as broke. Like me, you're never going to see me own That's exactly why, one of the reasons why I got rid of the Major Cartier luxury brand on social media, because I'm changing the entire platform. It started one way, it evolved, and what we're going to be doing with it right now is, because God's Gift, the shoe line, has been highly successful internationally in Europe, which is the next aspect of where we're going. I'm going to lean on Europe for a second, okay? So following the oil to Europe, okay? Because remember, Europe gets a lot of oil from Russia, which is a part of this whole process. Now, what has recently happened? Europe is looking into other sources of energy resources, and weaponry, military supply, and so forth and so forth. So what does Europe do? Because Europe realizes America is about to pull some shit, because America has a lot of cards in their hand, especially with them walking out of NATO, and now they just took Venezuela. They just made a serious move against Venezuela, and they're trying to go after Greenland. Europe is like, nah, we're not playing that shit. Nah, fuck that. What we about to do, we about to make a deal that's gonna cut all that shit off. So exactly what they did. They went ahead and they went ahead and partnered directly with India, the mother of all deals, and there's something they've been working on quietly in the background. So now that they put together the mother of all deals with India, they just rolled out all of the defense systems they needed. So while Donald Trump on the ride back from dealing with Venezuela was saying, oh, in 20 days, we'll talk about Greenland and it'll be quick because the only military defense systems they put in was one new Eskimo and one new dog. Now, if you look at the 77th celebration of India's Republic and their partnership with the EU and Europe specifically, you're going to realize that now they have the weaponry and the military supply they need to also support and protect their interests. So Donald Trump can't waltz into Greenland like he waltzed into Venezuela. You get what I'm saying? Because it's a different situation. And what's the difference? While everybody was making China the big boogeyman in the beginning of this entire thing, China's got everybody's by the balls. China's the one that's got everybody yin and yang by the balls. Because China's going to sell what you need to you and get the money from you in the back end. He's going to give you the money right now and get the mineral rights out of you in the back end. That's how China works. They're in it for the long term. They're not just in it for the short money business deals. And that's the difference. See, while for a large time, America has been working on a one-party system where that party has been either left or right, which is, if you pay attention to it, is either the left wing or the right wing of the same bird. So what does that mean? It produces the same shit. And that's what we have been paying attention to. But let's get to Europe for a second, right? So Europe just partnered, like I said, with India to create this mother of all deals to protect their interest against Trump. Not just from a military, but also from an economic standpoint, and also positioned strategically for Iceland, Greenland. Okay, so that's going to be the caveat to this whole thing. And what does that mean with the caveat? That means as much as Trump was promoting get rid of all of the immigration people, immigrants, and everybody else, Trump himself is going to have to turn around and welcome every single one of these immigrants back into the country, because all of the Americas that's been trying to get to America, you, Mr. President, I love and appreciate your hard work as a leader, but you're going to have to then turn around and open the doors to these people. Why? Because these Americas, how do you think this country was built? We were a nation of immigrants. Exactly. And now the money in America ain't going to change, but America's going to need a new workforce. That's it. Even with AI and everything else. So maybe we're planning for an America with all robots and no immigrants, or all robots do the work. And what would that look like? I don't know. But on the flip side, what does that look like if America has no one to actually build, no one to actually farm, no one to actually cultivate the things that we need to supply and to take care of our country? Now, maybe this is a part of the great exodus that's happening in 2026. That's the vision of 2030 for these people, is to have these smart countries and these smart places, so where these mundane jobs like picking oranges and picking tomatoes would be done by machines. They won't need a labor force. Now, think about it like this. With the person that created all the vaccines, started with the technology company, created all the vaccines, now owning all the farmland? How ironic is that? That AI and machinery would be in the farming to do the farming for them. So the AI and machinery is doing the farming, and you have Amazon that's getting rid of jobs because of they don't need deliveries anymore, because in the next 3 to 5 years they're doing away with machineries. So that means there's a lot more of the labor force that's set for a large disparity and change that people are not paying attention to, and that's facts. That's real shit. That's some real shit. That's as real as it gets. Now, I'll tell you the difference. I used to have 1 figure days, and I used to think one way. I had 2 figure days, and I really pretty much thought the same way. When I started having 3 figure days, I started reading more. When I started having 4 figure days, that's when I started, locking in. When I started having 5 figure days, my brain changed. Now I'm starting having 6 figure days. It's a completely different way of looking at things. So I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, to pay attention to what's happening, because the world around you ain't what you think it is. It's not. So let me tell you, in the next 3 years, you're going to see a lot of AIs, you're going to see a lot of robotics, and you're going to see a significantly large amount of people having AI and robots everywhere. But now, I give you the caveat to that, which is the most serious thing as far as a human-to-human situation that we need to talk about, is that if you pay attention to Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is saying that in the next 5 years, he sees everybody, billions of robots, and everybody having a robot because everybody's going to want one, because everybody's going to need one. When you look outside and you see those trees outside, you have to understand and remember that trees give us the air we need and oxygen we breathe, and we give the trees the carbon dioxide. So if there are no trees, because there's so many robots, that's really depopulation in general, if you think about it. Because in essence, with all these robots, we're going to do away with a lot of these trees. And with a lot of these trees gone, really, how are we going to survive unless the air that we breathe is being manufactured and supplied to us? It's a dangerous cycle, ladies and gentlemen. Now you got to think about terraforming Earth all over again. See, that's why I put together the Earth Space Project, the Earth Hemp Space Project, because we have to start thinking about these things. See, for me personally, everybody might need a robot in the future, but what everybody also will need in the future is a tree. It might sound crazy, but everybody, if trees give you air to breathe, and you give it air to breathe, carbon dioxide, what's going to be more important to your future? Having more robots or having more trees? I don't know. How long do you want to breathe? Or how easy do you want to work your work to be? That's really it. But think about it. We're not slowing down. We're not going backwards, guys. We're not going backwards. So it's on us right now to make sure that in having your robot, Patrick Bet-David, as you just recently got your robot, make sure you also get yourself a tree, my friend. Get yourself a personal tree. This is the Patrick Bet-David tree. So when I breathe, this tree breathes for me. You get what I'm saying? That's kind of just like you got your own personal robot. We need to start having our own personal tree, not just a tree in a neighborhood that supplies oxygen for everybody. Fuck the bullshit. Don't be cheap. You got enough money. You could buy a park. For all of my millionaire friends and everybody who on here stunting like you got the bag because you got the ice and everything else, get yourself a goddamn tree. Because in the next 10 years, that's the thing you're going to need, air. You're going to need air, okay? That's what we're going to need. We're going to need air and water, because that's what's under attack right now. Our air, our water, and our food. We're not even paying attention to this shit. So if your bag is not secured in making sure your air, your water, and your food supply is not in check, let me tell you, you're building the bag for the wrong reason, okay? You're stuck in the matrix, and it's time for you to unplug. Why do I say that? I got a farm. I got farmland. I'm growing trees. I got trees. Again, I'm a guy that people used to say smoke a lot of trees, but I started from being a weed head to being a doctor in cannabis, CBD medicine. Shout out to Dr. William E. Muldowney, Dr. Bill, God bless his soul. Started off as a weed head, and he took me from being a weed head to a cannabis doctor who treats patients for epilepsy, CBD, epilepsy with CBD for cancer, fibromyalgia, diabetes, and so many other illnesses. But it started from me being a weed head and understanding the Bible verse, Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, when it said, God said, I create all seed-bearing plant, herb, and food for you, and it's good. And in understanding that and taking a deeper level into that, I went from being a weed head to studying the plant and understanding the benefits of the plant and what the plant does, the chemical components of the plant. So you understand when a child is born, a mother's breast milk has the endocannabinoids that the brain needs to develop. Guess what? In the cannabis plant, It has the cannabinoids in it needed for brain development. That's why that actual plant works so well with epilepsy patients and Parkinson's patients, because it releases the coaxins in the brain for the development or for those processes that the neurons, the synapses on a homeostasis to bring that homeostasis in the body. And that's what people don't understand. So while the plant might seem one way, God created it something different. So while man is creating AI one way, God created us as his own AI a completely different way. And he gave us everything around us to sustain us. So again, while you getting your ice, while you getting your bag up, while you getting your robots, while you getting your Louis and everything else, God damn it, make sure you get yourself a tree in 2026. All right? Listen, man, that's my time. I don't want to make this too political. I just want to come here and just shoot my shot and let y'all know what's happening, because I know I haven't checked in with y'all in a minute. So again, man, your purpose on this earth is not to please me. And see, I'm a lot of time looking at my trees because I'm really serious about that. You know, I know everybody that sees this is going to have a robot in 2 to 3 years. You might look at me like I'm crazy. You might think I'm crazy right now, but in 3 years, by 2029, goddammit, you're going to have yourself a robot. By January 2029, you're going to have, keep in mind, y'all already got robot phones and robot watches and robot glasses, and y'all not paying attention to it. Because the AI in these smart homes, in these smart technologies, is doing the same thing. Because y'all already programmed to it. But y'all acting like I'm crazy for saying y'all need to get a tree when y'all get this robot. Okay, so if I'm going to be a 2026 tree hugger, this is a new kind of hippie, y'all. Get yourself a tree. You know what I'm saying? With this ChatGPT 19, make sure you got about 19 trees, or a tree with at least 19 leaves on it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get yourself some trees around you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to need to breathe. You're going to need some oxygen. Yeah, I appreciate the messages, because I got a lot of messages coming in from the group chat. I get to y'all in a second. I appreciate the love, by the way. Thank y'all so much. I know y'all going to be sending some love. And I appreciate the donations. If y'all going to be sending them, JRL Miller Group, JRL Miller Corp on Cash App, y'all know exactly. The $ JRL Miller Corp. I'll put this in there somewhere in the group chat so y'all can see this. But I just wanted to come in here and sit there, so I got a call coming in. I got to get to y'all. Listen, man, remember, your purpose on this earth is not to please you, nor to fulfill some unfulfilled childhood parent needs. Ain't no mystery, check the history. Let everyone be proud of their very own deeds. God bless, God's best. As always, Godspeed. I'm going to see who this is, y'all.